many cars are on the roads of America every day? How much fuel do all those cars burn? And what would it take to make the people who own those cars, who drive those cars, to buy electric vehicles instead? That's the question on the minds of America's auto manufacturers as they begin to try something truly revolutionary. On the face of it, there are plenty of advantages. EVs are quieter than conventional cars. They don't burn gasoline, so you don't have to buy any of it. They're easier to maintain, and of course, they're better for the environment. But politically, in the United States, they represent a kind of tug of war. Former US President touts EVs as an opportunity to both help the planet and put Americans to work. The Biden administration has awarded $1.7 billion in grants for electric vehicle manufacturing. His opponent, the current President Donald Trump, is not a fan of EVs. He says they're a threat to the American auto industry. Trump has promised to roll back federal policies to promote EVs in America and even threatened to slap a 100% tariff on electric cars imported from Mexico. That's in sharp contrast to his Republican counterpart here in Georgia, where Governor Brian Kemp is doing his best to bring more and more EV industry to the state, trying to make Georgia the electric mobility capital of the country. So it's become something of a political football. Still, some people see it as the way the future is coming. I spoke to one woman who's on the front lines of bringing EV and electric industry technology to Georgia. She's working hard and she feels like she's winning.
Cynthia, segment 2, Walker. Stanley.
Americans like big, thirsty, gas-guzzling cars. So what is it about EVs?
So EVs are making a kind of impact on the market, and I see cars in general have been evolved a lot. They're rolling data centers, they're rolling entertainment centers. Our cars are no longer wrenchable, and I think that Americans will probably for a long time hold on to their love of larger automobiles. It's just that now we're doing a great job of creating those out of EVs. So I do think it's kind of funny that even though we're moving towards the EVs, we still have very large EVs. So it's not like when I go to Europe or Asia where the cars are small and efficient.
Let's talk about just the baseline.
Okay.
If you go out on the streets of this city or if you go out on the highways of America, what do you see? Basically 95% of the cars are still burning gasoline. What's the penetration now for EVs in the States?
Purchasing new EVs, we're right at 7% right now. And a lot of that is really driven by a lot of the incentives and things like that that have come out of the IRA bill. Georgia is a clean alternative transportation state, one of 35 states to get $135 million. You use it to build EV infrastructure across the highways. And there's a law that I'm not sure about the exact mileage, but you need to have chargers within 5 or 6 miles of the exit. So this is able to build, I like to call it range confidence across the United States so that people, back to your point, can buy more EVs and they do feel more comfortable about buying one and being able to get to where they want.
Okay, I'm going to circle back just very quickly.
Yeah.
The IRA bill, just so people know, is the bizarrely misnamed Inflation Reduction Act.
It is bizarrely misnamed.
Which was a boom. It was an incredible gift, if you want to call
Still
it that,
is.
to the green revolution in this country and electric vehicles in particular. But let me ask you about that.
Okay.
I mean, how much do electric vehicles in this country still have the aura of the kind of thing that you have to be kind of a vegetarian green tea consuming tree hugger
Yes.
to buy, unless someone like Joe Biden or Uncle Sam forces you or pays you to do it? Because that's what's happening now. The government's making it very easy. And EVs still seem to be like exotica to a lot of Americans, I think. Don't you?
Well, I think it depends a lot on where you are. I mean, so I'm an EV owner and I'm in obviously Atlanta, Georgia, and I don't even have a home charger because I don't feel like I need one, right? Now, people in the rural areas, that might be not the case. It's not as easy for them to have an EV charger at the ready. So that is a lot of the reason for the NEVI funding that's happening to help make sure those rural areas are prepared and can go along. But I do hear you. I think the days of the granola EV owner exclusively are gone. I mean, I see EVs, of course that is my ecosystem, this is what I do, but I see EVs everywhere all the time. And I think more and more people, as they become more like a normal car, more and more people are really diving into that. I love mine so much, and I haven't had to buy gas in over a year, and had to pay $14 for some fill up my battery the other day, and I got upset. So as people start buying these cars, and as they realize that it's much easier, it's so much better for the environment, the cars are so fun, and they're so fast, and they're so fun to drive, I think people will really, really latch on to it. But it does take awareness, and it takes education, and the IRA bill gives incentives now to buy those cars. It's $7,000 back for a new EV, and then they just added $3,500 for a used EV, and that's actually a real big trend that's happening right now. The used EVs are becoming more affordable now, because a pushback we get a lot is that they're expensive. EVs are expensive, so a lot of times they're luxury items. So now that the used cars are coming on the market, and we have that incentive for the used cars, that's becoming a whole another sector that more people can enjoy. So it's really kind of spreading around the communities and hitting people that it's not just luxury anymore.
And if this were happening in California, people would say, oh, that's okay, that's where Silicon Valley is, that's where the technology is. It's happening in Georgia, which is the peach state.
Yes.
People think about Georgia, the quaint southern state of Georgia, agricultural, traditional, conservative. How much is Georgia betting on EVs as being the future of this state?
They're doing it a lot. That's my whole world. Governor Kemp launched the EMIA, the Electronic Innovation Mobility Alliance, with the goal to make Georgia a #1 leader in the EV state.
I'm going to interrupt very quickly.
Yes.
Governor Kemp
Yes.
is a Republican.
He is. But
he's probably, I don't know, moderate or conservative Republican. This guy is not, he's not a wild leftist. He's the Republican governor of a Republican state, and you're talking about what he's doing. So
well, that is why it's so beautiful. I mean, that is what really makes it. I mean, clean tech is the jobs of the future, and we know that. So since the passing of the IRA bill, since this money, there's over $40 billion in the IRA bill, so since the passing of that, Georgia is the #1 state for clean manufacturing investment. So we have had over $16 billion invested into Georgia since the passing of the IRA in clean manufacturing. We've created 16,000 jobs. So it's very easy for him to be in favor of that, and we're really thrilled that he is. So the EMIA identified a lot of areas where Georgia could really lean in and make the most of this situation. And as a result, we've built a beautiful circular EV economy. We've got the car producers, we've got Kia here, we've got Rivian, we've got Hyundai, we've got the battery producers and SK, we have battery recyclers and Ascend Elements, that's what they're doing. We have the chip manufacturers, we have the infrastructure developers like EnviroSpark, we have the bilateral charging like Heliox. So we've created this really beautiful circular ecosystem, and I think there's not really the space for that in other places. Georgia has really opened our arms and our hearts and our pocketbooks to really welcome all these companies, and we're doing everything we can to help make sure that they have the resources that they need and find the partnerships that they need. Georgia Tech is in Atlanta, and Hyundai has partnered with Georgia Tech to build a battery innovation lab. Hyundai got together with SK, which are two of the iconic kind of OG EV companies, building a mega plant where they're going to be building a battery manufacturing plant. Kia is here. I don't know, did I say that they produce 40% of the cars that are in Georgia? And then they're also producing the EV9, which is a big SUV EV, and that's all happening in Georgia too. So we've got the space, I also say that collaboration is Atlanta's superpower, and that's one thing that really makes a difference, I think. We are all in on making us a EV capital of the world, and we all work together, corporate, nonprofit, civic, educational, government, we all work together to make that a reality.
Now, to make the point again, Governor Kemp is a Republican.
He is.
President Donald Trump is a Republican who regards electric vehicles as the enemy of everything that's great in America. He wants to protect the traditional auto industry in Michigan, but around the country. He wants to protect fuel-burning cars. Is this now beyond politics? Is this now just so obvious that if you want to invest in the future of industry in this country, EVs are, if not the channel, they are an obvious channel?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's not, I know we're just talking about EVs, but it's not just EVs. It's all clean tech, solar installation, hydrogen, and hydrogen fuel cells being made to go in the EVs. I mean, this is an entire future of the workforce of America.
And yet, the United States is in some sense a laggard when it comes to cutting its greenhouse gas emissions. We are a big polluter. We are a very traditional industrial economy. Western Europeans and presumably Canadians look at us with disdain because of all the carbon that we burn. So when you talk about EVs this way, does it signal something about the future of the United States that maybe other people can be hopeful about?
Absolutely. I mean, in my opinion, we are getting caught up. And you're right, Europe and Asia, they're ahead of us in this technology. I go to a Smart Cities Tomorrow Mobility show every year in Barcelona, and I come back with 50, 60 pages of notes about what all the amazing things they are doing. And it's because they've had billions and billions and billions of dollars that has been dedicated to those tactics and to those strategies, but we have it now too. And then we also have the strong manufacturing ecosystem that we have here, and we have the collaborative power and the people with heart. So yes, we are late to the game, but we are there and we are absolutely diving in. And in my opinion, I mean, it's what I do, but I do feel like clean tech is the future of jobs.
The world needs America to be cleaner.
They do.
We do. Is this the way it will happen? By making money, by making products, by making cars that sell? I mean, we are, yes. I mean, it's America. We are commercialism, right? I mean, a business drives our community forward. The chamber's all business. I mean, the Metro Atlantic Chamber, we are all for our investors who are the biggest corporate 500 investors. We're number 3 in the world for corporate headquarters in Atlanta. And they're all talking about sustainability. What can we do? How can we lower our carbon footprint? Because they need that for their talent. Kids, the rising generation wants to make a difference. They want to do something that matters. They want to help save the world. And if your company is not doing that, they're not going to come work for you. So, I mean, it's really this whole intertwined situation that I think is occurring that I'm just grateful every single day to be a part of and to help push forward in Georgia. Cynthia Curry, thanks very much.
You're so welcome. I loved being here. Thank you so much for having me.